Thanks for watching this video. We're going to talk about our work, 3D-Aware face swapping. Face swapping is an important research topic in computer vision with wide applications in entertainment and privacy protection. Existing methods directly learn to swap 2D facial images, taking no account of the geometric information of human faces. In the presence of large pose variance between the source and the target faces, there always exist undesirable artifacts on the swapped face. In this paper, we present a novel 3D-aware face swapping method that generates high-fidelity and multi-view consistent swapped faces from single-view source and target images. To achieve this, we take advantage of the strong geometry and texture prior of 3D human faces, where the 2D faces are projected into the latent space of a 3D generative model. By disentangling the identity and attribute features in the latent space, we succeed in swapping faces in a 3D-aware manner, being robust to pose variations while transferring fine-grained facial details. Extensive experiments demonstrate the superiority of our 3D-aware face swapping framework in terms of visual quality, identity similarity, and multi-view consistency. After giving the preview of our work, we're going to show more details in the following few minutes. Let's start with the problem definition of face swapping. Face swapping aims to transfer the identity of a person in the source image to another person in the target image, while preserving other attributes like head pose, expression, illumination, background, and so on. Currently, face swapping approaches can be classified into two categories: 3D-based and GAN-based. Specifically, 3D-based methods fit input images into 3D parametric face models like 3D-MM, while GAN-based methods adopt the popular adversarial training strategy to generate photorealistic fake faces. However, each method has its own limitation. As mentioned before, the key of face swapping is to transfer the geometric shape and detailed texture information of the facial region from source to target. 3D-based methods only consider geometry prior, leading to relatively low resolution and fuzzy swapping results. GAN-based method may sustain undesirable artifacts when two input faces undergo large pose variation, since the strong 3D geometry prior of human faces is ignored. In recent years, some researchers introduced the idea of GAN inversion into face swapping, utilizing the well-trained style GAN models to generate high-resolution swapped faces. But these methods suffer the same problem as GAN-based approaches. Motivated by this, we decide to perform a 3D-aware face swapping, exploiting the strong geometry and texture priors simultaneously for better performance. However, there still exist two main challenges. First, how to infer both geometry and texture prior from single-view 2D images. Second, how to leverage such inferred prior to swap face in a 3D-aware manner. To infer these 3D facial prior from single-view images, we introduce a 3D GAN inversion framework. The inversion module projects the input 2D image into a high-dimension latent vector, with rich geometry and texture prior embedded in it. However, different from 2D-style GAN-like models which totally rely on the latent code W to generate the corresponding output, the 3D-aware generative model has an extra input D which controls the pose of synthesized image. This indicates that latent codes and generated images are not bijections for 3D GANs, since multi-view images of the same person can be synthesized using the same W but different D. To overcome this problem, we design a pseudo-multi-view training strategy, using a generated image in a different view from the source image to improve the consistency of latent code projection. Here's the illustration of our pseudo-multi-view training strategy. The key idea of this strategy is to serve the generated image x hat in a random direction d hat as a pseudo-multi-view input. Considering the bottom branch helps our optimization meet the non-bijective property and obtain rather accurate 3D prior in the form of latent code. To take full advantage of the prior extracted from the 3D GAN model, we design a latent code manipulation algorithm. Since the swapped face is an intermediate state of the source and target image, it naturally comes to us that we need to interpolate between their according latent codes. Moreover, style GAN-like models share the style mixing property of latent codes, which means that different layers of latent codes control different parts of attributes. This allows us to generate more desirable swapping results by only performing interpolation only on part of the latent codes. In summary, The latent code of swapped face can be calculated with this piecewise function. With the encoding network trained by the well-designed optimization strategy, we can project an input image into a code in the 3D latent space. However, the inevitable reconstruction error will degrade the performance of face swapping, which is a downstream task of 3D GAN inversion. Also, we observe that directly swapping faces via latent manipulation leads to slight artifacts in the non-facial region. Motivated by PTI, we adopt pivot tuning on the parameters of the pre-trained EG3D generator in an optimizing direction considering both reconstruction quality and face swapping performance. Finally, with this fine-tuned generator and latent code calculated by the manipulation algorithm, we can directly synthesize the swapped face Y in any direction D. We conduct several experiments on the Celeb AHD dataset, which is a large-scale high-quality face attributes dataset contains 30,000 images in megapixel level. Images below are all tested under several challenging settings, such as different genders, large age gaps, different skin colors, distinguishing lighting conditions and large pose variations. High-fidelity swapped faces under all these challenging cases validate the effectiveness and robustness of our method. We also compare the proposed 3D swap with 4-GAN or GAN inversion-based 2D swapping methods. They are representative approaches in recent years with state-of-the-art performance. Moreover, their official source codes are publicly available for us to make fair comparisons. Compared with all these approaches, our methods transfer more accurate geometry features like facial contour and detailed texture features like eye color to targets, reflecting better identity transferring performance. As the first 3D-aware face swapping approach, the proposed 3D swap generate high-quality multi-view face swapping results. In conclusion, we propose a novel 3D-aware face swapping method 3D swap that generates high-fidelity and multi-view consistent swapped faces. To leverage both geometry and texture prior of the 3D human face, we project the input images into the latent space of the 3D-aware generative model by introducing a learning-based inversion. A latent code manipulation algorithm, consisting of style mixing and latent code interpolation, is then designed to achieve 3D GAN inversion-based face swapping. We further bridge the image quality between 2D generating and 3D rendering by applying a joint pivot tuning. To the best of our knowledge, 3D swap is the first 3D-aware face swapping method, thus it sets a strong baseline for future research on 3D forgery detection and face swapping. Please refer to our project page for more details.